Hi guys and welcome to another video by Mental News YouTube channel. My name is Alan Arvindan and just like every week we come up with career guide sessions on various topics. This time I'm going to be talking about the salary expectations of chartered accountants in India. And I know that this is not a new question, but if you see most of the resources which are actually available via Google on YouTube, most of them are very generic answers on what the kind of salary structures are there in for chartered accounting and the kind of roles that are available in India. And in this video, what I'm going to be discussing is first of all, I'm going to be talking about what exactly are the factors which affect salary for chartered accountants in India, and then going after industry and sector wise and showing you what are the different kinds of skills and what are the kind of salaries available in various sectors, right? Let's start with the first factor, which is industry. Now, believe it or not, just because a person has a chartered accountancy degree does not really mean that the salary will be same across industries. And just to illustrate this point, if you actually look at my slide here, now there are three different sectors, or you can say probably three different industries we are talking about, right? So, for example, chartered accountant can work in analytics field, specifically in risk analytics, or maybe even in credit risk analytics, and the salaries can start somewhere around 6 lakhs, right? And if you look at the same salary in the FMCG sector, with about 3 years of experience, the person can actually start with about 10 lakh salary. And also at the same time, working with any industry in the financial planning and analysis function, a person can start at 3 lakhs per annum also, right? So it all depends also on the industry. Then the second factor is obviously when we're looking at in terms of earning, what kind of salaries a person can expect at the starting level. The second is skill sets, right? For example, just like in the previous slide, we spoke about risk analytics and financial planning and analysis, and also retail. The skill set also would be different, right? For example, if you're looking at analytics role, then you need to obviously, apart from chartered accountants, you need to develop some background in statistics, because most of the applied concepts in analytics, especially risk modeling, would be related to statistics. So the chartered accountancy degree itself is not going to be helping you, right? And that goes a long way in actually giving you some idea on, when you're doing chartered accountancy program or course, whichever level you are in, or whether you are already passed out from chartered accountancy, that look at some industries that or some functions that specifically want to specialize, so that you know what exactly to do apart from your generic CA course. If you look at, for example, retail, now in retail, majority of the roles are in financial planning analysis, right? Financial planning analysis is nothing but a person who inside a company tries to set metrics for the company to achieve, and also creates budgets, and allocates budgets to different departments, right? And that's again requires a different skill set, which is not entirely available in chartered accountancy itself. So you might have to learn financial modeling. And similarly, if you look at ITES, which is another way of saying KPOs working for the US, again, financial planning analysis will require you to learn financial modeling as a skill, right? Now, moving on into the third and the fourth, mostly overlooked aspects which affect the salary for a chartered accountant is the performance in CA, right? So, how many attempts have you actually given? That will also depend upon which industry you actually get qualified for. So, for example, FMCG sector, which is highly competitive, if you are a ranker, or if you've done, if you cleared CA in the first attempt, you would obviously have a little higher preference in terms of the aptitude, and in terms of the acceptance, and also in terms of the opportunity. And finally, but the most important factor is, if you are intending to work in any of these fields, if your communication skills, both written as well as spoken, presentation skills, your ability to grasp the concept, simplify the concept, and present the concept is going to go a long way in terms of helping you find the best opportunity, right? Now I'm going to move on into showing you a detailed salary breakup from a sector to sector basis, right? Now let's look at the entire ITES sector, right? So this is mostly information technology enabled services, that includes services which we give to the US. For example, what PwC does for a lot of clients in the US would fall under ITES, right? Now you can see here that if you target roles into accounts payable and accounts receivable, even at the management level, of course your salary is not going to be that high. But If you are, let's say, targeting roles in business finance, corporate finance, something like financial planning analysis, then your salaries at a start level are a little higher compared to the generic roles like accounts payable and accounts receivable, right? And similarly, if you look at audit salaries are somewhere start somewhere around 6 lakhs to 7 lakhs, depending upon the kind of company that you're getting into. Now let's look at the niche jobs in the IT sector. Right? So, for example, risk analysis, which I was showing you at the start, you know, you can start at somewhere around 6 to 7 lakhs. Companies like Credit Suisse hire for risk analytics. SOX compliance is nothing but the annual audit of the company. If you've done your articleship pretty seriously, and if you've done well in your articleship plus your exams, then you have a higher chance of being a part of processes which tend to pay higher for audits. Right. Let's move on into looking at some banking and finance jobs, which are tend to pay slightly higher than the normal other field. Like for example, risk advisory tends to start with somewhere around 14 lakhs, even for a fresher, right? Similarly, mergers and acquisitions and fund management. In fund management, you can start from the buy side analyst level. Again, remember that skills have to be there along with obviously the CA qualification, the degree that you hold. So, for example, banking and finance jobs, specifically these three jobs that I'm talking about, need financial modeling skills and a deep understanding of valuation, deep understanding of businesses, deep understanding and interest in the general markets will obviously help you in getting the best jobs in this sector, right? Looking at another job in banking and finance, again, finance and accounts. These are majorly general finance and accounts. For example, FP&A, treasury, strategy would fall under these category, right? But again, these are also some of the opportunities that are available in BFSI as well, right? Now moving on to retail. Now retail specifically, I told you at the start, if you have done good, if you have done good in your C exams and your articleship was pretty serious, FP&A specifically in retail and e-commerce can pay you a lot, and even with very less experience, right? So, if because retail and e-commerce, tend to use a lot of financial planning analysis because there's so many moving parts, there's so many departments, there's so many things which are products which are going on. So financial planning analysis is a very, very important role in these sectors. And if you are able to develop the kind of skills which are required for this field, specifically, budgeting, forecasting, financial modeling, then you have a higher chance of getting into these. So that brings us to the last slide of the various salaries available in various sectors. I hope this video was helpful to you, and stay tuned, subscribe to the channel to get such updates every week. Thank you, bye bye, and I'll see you in another video.